Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to discuss important objective questions for NEET aspirant of cell physiology or metabolism, right? When a cell is kept in 0.5 m solution of sucrose, its volume does not alter. If the same cell is placed in a 0.5 m solution of sodium chloride, the volume of the cell increase, decrease, cell is plasmolized, cell shows no change. The volume of the cell will decrease. Evolution of carbon dioxide is more than intake of oxygen. When glucose is respired, sucrose is respired, organic acids are respired, fats are respired. It is organic acids are respired. Anaerobic respiration partly or wholly involves Krebs cycle only, glycolysis and Krebs cycles, glycolysis only, oxidative phosphorylation. The correct option, glycolysis only. When a cell absorbs energy from the environment, the reaction can be ATP is equals ADP plus IP, ADP plus PI inorganic phosphate, ADP is equal to AMP plus P1, ADP plus AMP is equal to ATP. Second option, ADP, when gives inorganic phosphate, it forms ATP. Importance of Krebs cycle is production of amino acids, production of vitamins, production of ATP molecule through oxidative phosphorylation to encourage gluconeogenesis. The correct option is 3, production of ATP molecules through oxidative phosphorylation. According to template theory, amino acids first combine with DNA, transfer DNA, a messenger RNA, proteins. Correct option, transfer RNA. Dr. Khurana's work is concerned with deciphering of genetic code, indication of mutations in plant, cure of cancer, synthesis of simple DNA molecules. It is the deciphering of genetic code. RNA is synthesized by DNA in nucleus, cytoplasm, chromosomes, nucleoli. It is a nucleus. RNA controls the synthesis of amino acids, nucleotides, chromosomes, enzyme. It is the enzymes. Organelles which are regarded as the powerhouse of the cell or in which the oxidative reactions of respiratory process takes place, or which is inorganic catalytic enzymes, or which contain the respiratory chains, or in which chemical changes, energy changes to physiologically available bioenergy. They are chloroplast, mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum. Correct option is mitochondria. In respiration, pyruvic acid is formed only when oxygen is available, a result of protein breakdown. Correct option, pyruvic acid is broken down into 2 carbon fragments. Enzymes are essential in our body because these are structural components of the body, supply energy, catalyze biochemical reactions in cell, coordinate nervous activities of the body. Third option is correct, catalyze biochemical reactions in cell. If red blood corpuscles are placed in distilled water, they will stick together, swell and burst, shrink, remain normal, swell and burst. Genetic course was cracked by Watson and Crick, Beadle and Totem, Briggs and King, Nirenberg, Mattei and Khorana. It is Nirenberg, Mattei and Khorana. ATP is an enzyme which brings about oxidation. Oxidation, a hormone, a protein, a molecule with a high energy phosphate. It is a molecule with high energy phosphate bond. Ribosomes are the centers for or are responsible for respiration, protein synthesis, photosynthesis, fat synthesis. It is protein synthesis. 17. When ATP is converted into ADP, it releases electricity, hormones, enzymes, energy. It releases energy. The main and common immediate source of bioenergy in animals is as or energy obtained by a cell from catabolic reactions is directly stored in or energy is released upon breakdown of mitochondria, ATP, liver, blood. It is ATP. which is important in oxidative and fat metabolism. Pyruvic acid, glucose, acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide. It is acetyl coenzyme A. We get major supply of energy from glucose via alcoholic fermentation, Krebs cycle, lactic acid, fat metabolism. Correct option is Krebs cycle. Selective permeability identifies the process of diffusion, osmosis, imbibition, plasmolysis. It is diffusion. The common phase in aerobic and anaerobic respiration is tricarboxylic cycle, oxidative phosphorylation, glycolysis, Krebs cycle. Correct option is glycolysis. Proteins are synthesized at ribosomes, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, centrosome. Correct option is ribosome. Transcription is the process in which messenger RNA is formed from DNA. Lysosomes digest the cell. Mitochondria are formed. Proteins is synthesized at ribosome. Messenger RNA is formed from DNA. Translation is the process of DNA replication, RNA synthesis, assembly of ribosomes or Golgi bodies, protein synthesis. Correct option is protein synthesis. Energy produced per gram is highest in case of wheat starch, highest in case of rice starch, highest in case of potato. Same in all cases. It is same in all cases. Man needs carbohydrate as a source of energy, and he can get this from starch, cellulose, both, none of this. It is from starch. Mitochondria are the seat or organ associated with the function of cellular digestion, cellular respiration, excretion, protein synthesis. It is cellular respiration. The common immediate source of energy and important means of transfer of energy in cellular activity or energy currency of cell is DNA, RNA, ATP, NAD. Correct option is ADP. Within the cell, the site of aerobic respiration or oxidative phosphorylation and electron transfer or transformation of chemical energy into usable bioenergy is ribosomes, mitochondria, nucleus, nucleolus. Correct option is mitochondria. Our body can use proteins also as energy source, but for that, the amino acids monomers of protein are first deaminated in liver, lungs, muscles, spleen. It is in liver. Which of these will be largely different in different animals? With carbohydrate, fats, protein, all of these. Products of protein digestion are circulated in the blood in the form of amino acids, enzymes, fatty acids, nucleic acid. It is amino acid. The energy rich compound that forms during biological oxidation of glucose is pyruvic acid, adenosine triphosphate, acetoacetate, adenosine monomer. Correct option adenosine triphosphate. Which of these is not an attribute of enzymes? They are proteinaceous, they are specific in nature, they are accelerated by them. They are used up in reaction. This is not attributed that they are used up in reaction. The genetic information is encoded in structural proteins, DNA, enzymes and DNA, enzymes and DNA. It is in DNA. Formation of fats begin in the body when blood sugar level is constant, glucose is converted into glycogen, liver and muscles cannot store any more glycogen, glucose combines with glycerol. Liver and muscles cannot store any more glycogen. Fat formation from glucose takes place in order to remove excess of fatty acids from circulation, relieve liver from excess of glycogen, keep the blood sugar level constant. All of these relieve liver from the excess of glycogen. Long fatty acid chains are formed from decomposition of mineral fats, polymerization of glycogen, conversion of glycerol, polymerization of two carbon compounds. It is polymerization of two carbon compounds. In glycolysis, ultimately, a protein is converted into glucose, glucose is converted to fructose, glucose converted to pyruvic acid, starch is converted to glucose. It is glucose is converted to pyruvic acid. Chemically, enzymes are carbohydrate, proteins, fats, hydrocarbons. They are proteins. A nucleotide of importance in transfer of energy within the cell is adenosine diphosphate, adenosine monophosphate, uracil, thymine. It is adenosine monophosphate. A group of proteins in living cells which catalyze chemical reactions are called vitamins, oxins, enzyme, hormones. It is enzymes. Pyruvic acid, before combining the oxaloacetic acid or citric cycle, becomes lactic acid, acetoacetic acid, succinonic acid, acetyl. It is acetyl coenzyme E. High energy compounds are those that link exergonic to endergonic process, produced in respiration only, produced when ATP loses two of its phosphate group sugars whose oxidation release large amount of energy during respiration, produced in respiration only. Process by which DNA passes information to RNA, or formation of RNA from DNA is called translocation, transcription, translation, transformation. It is transcription. Energy in small calories yielded by complete oxidation of one molecule of glucose is 686,686 30406860,686. The oxidation one molecule goes at 686 kilocalories. This first option is correct. A cell increase in volume if external medium is isotonic, slightly hypotonic, much more concentrated than the cytosol cell. It is hypotonic. In transcription, RNA is converted to DNA. RNA moves out from the nucleus to the ribosomes. The RNA changes from one form to another. RNA forms the DNA. It is RNA forms from DNA. A cell is actively secreting or excreting or producing. Its metabolism requires energy, loss of which of the following energy sources would immediately affect its metabolism: sunlight, glucose, carbohydrate, ATP. It is ATP. Genetic code determines structural pattern of an organism, sequence of amino acids in a protein, number of variations of offspring, constancy of morphological trait. It is the sequence of amino acids in proteins. In energy transfer process from ADP to ATP, donor of phosphate is inorganic phosphate, ADP, glucose phosphate, ATP. It is inorganic phosphate. Glycogen is stored in liver cells only, pancreas, liver and muscles, muscles only, liver and muscles. If food take it If food intake is greater than energy used, the surplus is deposited as fat, glycogen, fat or glucose protein. It is deposited as fat. Metabolic processes in the body are catalyzed by lipids, enzymes, proteins, carbohydrate. Correct option, enzyme. Which of these yields twice as many calories as per gram moles as carbohydrate? Minerals, proteins, vitamins, fat. They are the fats. Where is the energy stored as reserve food? Liver, spleen, adipose tissues, brain. That is in the adipose tissues. Metabolism means sum total of energy release and gain process. Energy release process only, energy gain process only, destructive process. It is energy release and gain processes. Sum of constructive processes in body cells is called catabolism, anabolism, BMR, metabolism. It is anabolism. Mitochondria are powerhouse of cells which energy is produced by Krebs cycle. Inside them, they generate electricity. They store energy in ADP. None of these. The energy is produced by Krebs cycle inside them. RNA present upon endoplasmic reticulum helps in inheritance of character, protein synthesis, lipid synthesis, transcription. It is the protein synthesis. ATP molecules yielded by one molecule of glucose on complete oxidation number 40, 30, 38, 48. It is 38. Last step in Krebs cycles is the breakdown of fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid, citric acid. It is malic acid. Amino acids of surplus amino acid amino groups of surplus amino acids are turned into urea, or urea is synthesized in pancreas, spleen, kidney, liver. First stage in utilization of glucose for energy concludes in the formation of, or the link between glycolysis and Krebs cycle is pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A, oxaloacetic acid, malic acid. It is pyruvic acid. Movement of substances against their concentration gradient in the living system is called osmosis, diffusion, Brownian movement, active transport. It is active transport. Biological energy is readily available by the breakdown of ATP, glucose, glycogen, fat, DNA. It is by ATP. Net gain of ATP molecules in anaerobic respiration, breakdown of one molecule of glucose into two molecules of pyruvic acid is 4, 2, 36, 38. It is 2. In mammals, carbohydrates are stored as glycogen in liver and spleen, lactic acid in muscles, glucose in liver and muscles, glycogen in liver. It is glycogen in liver and muscle. In glycogenolysis, glycogen is converted into glucose, glucose is oxidized to yield ATP, amino acids are broken down to yield glucose, glucose is converted into glycogen. Correct option, glycogen is converted into glucose. The abbreviation BMR is biologically stands for bone marrow regeneration, birth mortality rate, basal Malpighian translation, basal metabolic rate. BMR, it is basal metabolic rate. In glycolysis, glycogen is converted into glucose, glucose is converted to glycogen, glucose is degraded to pyruvic acid, pyruvic acid is transformed into citric acid. Correct option, glucose is degraded to pyruvic acid. Point out the correct statement. Enzymes cannot be used again and again. Enzymes are amino acids, proteins are carbohydrate, protein or carbohydrate. Enzymes can be used again and again in reactions. Enzymes resemble hormones in their effect. Third, enzymes can be used again and again in the reaction. Active transport release requires energy, liberates energy in non-cellular process, none. It requires energy. Anaerobic respiration is a type of incomplete oxidation, fermentation, putrefaction, anabolic reaction. It is fermentation. The process of deriving glucose from fats and proteins is called glucogenesis, glycolysis, gluconeogenesis, glycogenolysis. It is gluconeogenesis. Conversion of degradation of glycogen into glucose is called glycogenolysis, glycolysis, gluconeogenesis, glycogenesis. It is glycogenolysis. The enzyme that was first extracted in crystalline form is zymase, urease, lipase, cytase. It is urease. Tricarboxylic acid cycle was discovered by Hanslet, Bent, Krebs, and Hanslet. It is Krebs. Blood corpuscles shrink if kept in a solution which is hypertonic, isotonic. It is hypertonic. Buckner proved that it is not living yeast, but a non-living substance in it which causes fermentation. The substance is urease, zymase, lipase, protease. It is zymase. Which statement is correct? All enzymes are lipid, some enzymes are protein, all enzymes are protein. All enzymes and hormones are protein. All enzymes are proteins. Excuse me. Calorific value is maximum in or more energy is produced from 1 gram mole of fats, sugar, proteins, vitamins. Correct option is fats. ATP synthesis mainly takes place in cytosol, mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum. It is mitochondria, which determines sequence of amino acids in proteins. Transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, genetic code gene. It is genetic code. Glucose is finally broken down to carbon dioxide and water in nucleus, mitochondria, cytosol, food vacuole. The correct option is mitochondria. How many types of RNA are found in the organism? 3179. Correct option 3. Metabolic rate can be increased by giving injections of testosterone, thyroxine, growth hormone, all of these. All of these. In anaerobic conditions, energy is produced in certain types of animal cells by degradation of glucose into citric acid, carbon dioxide, and water, lactic acid, ethyl alcohol. It is lactic acid. A coenzyme is a carbohydrate and that controls enzymatic activity, a nucleic acid, a vitamin that acts with an enzyme, an inorganic compound. The correct option, a vitamin that acts with an enzyme. Specificity of a protein in its enzyme. Metic and physical properties depends upon time of its synthesis, other enzyme molecules in the system, linear sequence of amino acid molecules, quantity in which it is present in the system. It is the third option, linear sequence of amino acid molecules. Enzymes differ from ordinary catalysts is in that they are non-proteins, all proteins produced outside cell in organ, that is all proteins. Krebs cycles eventually leads to storage of energy in ATP, storage of energy in ADP, liberation of energy from ADP, liberation of energy from ATP. It is storage of energy in ATP. A codon on the messenger RNA has one base, two bases, three bases, variable number of bases. They had three bases. Amount of glucose in 1000 ml. Amount of glucose in 1000 ml of blood during starvation is 300 mg, 60 to 70 mg, 100 mg, 30 mg. It is 60 to 70 mg. A polysome is a group of ribosomes, lysosomes, Golgi bodies, mitochondria. It is ribosomes. Cytochrome oxidase contains manganese, iron, magnesium, zinc. It contains iron. Amount of energy in calories released when one molecule of ATP is hydrolyzed to ADP. 73,600, 86,000, 730, 7,300. Correct option 7,300. Cytochromes occur in entire inner mitochondrial membrane, cristae of mitochondria, matrix of mitochondria, outer mitochondrial membrane. The correct option, cristae of mitochondria. Now the next one, ribosomal RNA is formed by transfer RNA. Ribosomal RNA is formed by DNA, ATP, messenger RNA, nucleolus. The correct option is DNA. RNA synthesis can be checked by ATP, DNA, histone, certain amino acid. Correct option is histone. Chief end products of carbohydrates and fat metabolism are H2O and CO2, H2O and pyruvic acid, CO2 and pyruvic acid, none of these. It is H2O and carbon dioxide. Nobel Prize for 1968 awarded to Nierenberg, Holly and Khorana for structure of DNA, synthesis of gene, cracking of genetic molecule, all of it. That is synthesis of gene. Movement of solutes across a membrane from a region of higher to a region of lower concentration is called osmosis, diffusion, lysis, active transfer. It is active transfer. With which one is not a high energy phosphate compound? Creatinine phosphate, ATP, GDP, AMP, that is AMP. In anaerobic respiration, pyruvic acid in muscles forms alcohol acetyl coenzyme A, lactic acid acetaldehyde. It is lactic acid. Form of energy used in respiration is chemical, electrical, radiant, mechanical. It is chemical. Synthesis of ATP in mitochondria takes place in matrix upon cristae and outer membrane and intracrystal space. The correct option is upon cristae. Process of osmosis involves movement of solvent through a semipermeable membrane, solute through a semipermeable membrane, solution through a semipermeable membrane, none of these. The first option is correct, solvent through a semi-permeable membrane. In electron transport chain, the chemical cytochrome that donates electrons to oxygen is A, B, C, A3. It is A3. Molecules of which RNA are smallest nucleotide polymer? Messenger RNA, ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA, chromosomal RNA. It is transfer RNA. In electron transport system, the reduced coenzymes are regenerated by loss of hydrogen, loss of electrons, addition of oxygen. Now it is loss of electron. Formation of acetyl coenzyme A. Formation of acetyl coenzyme A from pyruvic acid is the result of oxidative decarboxylation, dehydration, reduction, phosphorylation. It is oxidative decarboxylation. Addition of a phosphate or some other group to a molecule requires oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen energy. It is the energy. Non-protein part of an enzyme for necessary enzyme activity is called prosthetic group, apoenzyme, holoenzyme, isoenzyme. It is prosthetic Grow. Krebs cycle begins with glucose, oxaloacetic acid, pyruvic acid, citric acid. Krebs cycle begins with citric acid. DNA indicates synthesis of proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, glucose. It is the proteins. One enzyme concept was given by Watson and Crick. Beadle and Totem, Ledenberg and Totem, Khorana, it is Beadle and Totem. Which of these sequences correct? RNA, DNA, proteins, DNA, proteins, RNA, proteins, RNA, DNA, DNA, RNA, protein. It is the DNA, RNA and protein. Maximum energy is produced by oxidation of carbohydrate, fats, proteins, minerals. It is the fats. Term gene refers to an amino acid sequence in a polypeptide, nucleotide sequence in RNA, nucleotide sequence in DNA, none of these. It is the nucleotide sequence in DNA. An intermediate product during Krebs cycle is lactic acid, isocitric acid, pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A. It is isocitric acid. First reaction in glycolysis is catalyzed by lactase hydrogenase, aldolase, hexokinase, phosphofructokinase. It is hexokinase. Site of aerobic respiration in the cells is mitochondria, nucleus, hexokinase, lysosomes. It is mitochondria. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, adenosine monophosphate, adenosine diphosphate, adenosine tetraphosphate. It is adenosine triphosphate. Gene is a segment of a molecule of RNA, protein, DNA plus a histone molecule, DNA molecule. It is a DNA molecule. End product of glycolysis is citric acid, pyruvic acid, glyceraldehyde, phosphoglyceraldehyde. It is pyruvic acid. If a cell in a solution shrinks, the solution is hypotonic, isotonic, hypotonic, none of this. It is hypertonic. During glycolysis, ATP and the coenzyme and magnesium ions helps the enzymatic activity of phosphohexose isomerase, glucokinase, pyruvic acid kinase, enolase. It is glucokinase. Which one is not an essential amino acid? Alanine, lysine, methionine, leucine. It is alanine. Correct. First is the function of ATP is in muscular action, heat production, active transport, all of these. It is all of these. Fumarase enzyme converts succinic acid to fumaric acid to malic acid, fumaric acid to malic acid, fumaric acid to citric acid. It is fumaric acid to malic acid. Gluconeogenesis is controlled by cortisol, thyroxine, corticosterone, all of these. Correct option, all of these. Which water will be called metabolic water? Carbon dioxide water, which gives glucose in the photosynthesis. Glucose plus oxygen. Carbon dioxide water energy is released in the presence of various enzymes. Fumaric acid changes into malic acid, presence of enzyme, none of these. Second, when glucose is oxidized, carbon dioxide water energy is released. This water is formed during the metabolic activities. Enzymes, vitamins, and hormones can be classified into a single category of biological chemicals because all of these are synthesized in the body, and hence oxidative metabolism, help in regulating metabolism, or protein help in regulating metabolism. Which of these will leave basic residues in body during metabolism? Eggs, oils and fats, meat, citrus fruit and juices. It is the meat. Now the next one is, which of these is not a ketone body? Acetoacetic acid, acetone, succinic acid, beta hydroxybutyric acid. It is succinic acid. End product of protein metabolism is urea, ammonia, glutamine, uric acid. It is ammonia. Synthesis of ATP is essential in oxidation process involving removal of energy from oxygen, cytochromes, electrons, phytochromes. It is electrons. Which of these reactions occur in shuttle mechanism of mitochondria? NADHH is oxidized to NAD. Ascorbic acid is oxidized to hydroascorbic acid. Glucose is phosphorylated. Ferrous ions is oxidized to ferric ion. First option is correct. NADHH is oxidized to NAD. Oxidative phosphorylation is formation of NADH2 in respiration, ATP in respiration, ATP in photosynthesis, NADH2 in photosynthesis. Correct option, ATP in respiration. For deciphering the genetic code, Khorana synthesized triplet codons gene for East alanine transfer RNA homopolymers, copolymers or repetitive sequence, that is copolymers of repetitive sequences. Basal metabolic rate would highest in man, rabbit, whale, elephant. It is in rabbit. In mitochondria, the first carrier of energy after the release of hydrogen from the food is usually ADP, FAD, cytochrome, NAD. It is NAD. Enzyme with different molecular configurations but with the same function are called apoenzymes, isoenzymes, coenzyme, inducible enzyme. It is isoenzymes. According to chemiosmotic theory, electron transport within mitochondria causes protons to leave the mitochondrial matrix by osmosis, facilitate diffusion, active transport, simple diffusion. It is active transport. Number of carbon atoms in a molecule of pyruvic acid is 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 2. Diffusion of water through a selectively permeable membrane is called active transport, passive transport, diffusion, osmosis. Enzymes of glycolysis are found in mitochondria, cytoplasm, Golgi complex, glyoxysome. It is cytoplasm. In citric acid cycle, the end products of oxidation of foods is lactic acid, pyruvic acid, carbon dioxide and water. Citric acid is carbon dioxide and water. Of the 38 ATP molecules formed per glucose molecule in respiration, 22 molecules are produced from NADH-FADS2 produced during Krebs cycle, Embden-Mer of pathway, oxidative decarboxylation, respiratory chain itself, that is in the Krebs cycle. An enzyme acts as increasing reaction time, decreasing reaction time, reducing activation time, increasing activation. It is increasing activation energy. Increasing activation energy, here also energy. Main difference between active and passive transport across cell membrane is that active transport occurs more rapidly than passive transport. Passive transport is confined to atoms, to anions and cations. Passive transport is non-selective. Passive transport requires a concentration gradient across the membrane, whereas active transport requires metabolic energy. Last one is the correct option. That is, passive transport requires a concentration gradient across the membrane, whereas active transport requires metabolic energy. Now here, without air, life is free from oxidative damage, impossible, anaerobic, reduce. It is impossible. Without air, we can't survive because most of the amino acids are represented by more than one codon. The genetic code is said to be woven, degenerative, overlapping, generate. It is regenerative. It is said to be degenerate. From a DNA template with the sequence CTGATAGC, the messenger RNA sequence formed would be GUCTUTCG or UACTATCU or GAUTATUG or GAGUAUCG. Correct option is the fourth, that is GACUAUCG. A red blood cell kept in a solution for a few minutes get burst. The solution was hypertonic, isotonic, concentrated sugar. It is hypotonic. In protein synthesis, polymerization of amino acids involves 3 steps. Which step is not involved in it? Elongation, transcription, initiation, termination. That is elongation. First phase in breakdown of glucose in animal cell is Krebs cycle, electron transport system, glycolysis, fermentation. It is glycolysis. Initiation codon in eukaryotes is UAG, AGU, GAU, AUG. Correct option AUG. Respiratory substrate yielding maximum ATP molecules is glucose, glycogen, amylose, beta-genetic amino acid. It is glucose. When yeast ferments glucose, the products are carbon dioxide, methanol, carbon dioxide, ethanol, carbon dioxide, water, ethanol. It is carbon dioxide, ethanol. True about enzymes is that these are all proteins, all formed of a protein part and a non-protein prosthetic part, all catalyze reactions in one direction only, found in glandular cells. First, all protein. Final electron receptor is electron transport chain, that is NAD, ATP, cytochrome, oxygen. Correct option is oxygen. Transcription strictly means formation of messenger RNA, transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, DNA. It is messenger RNA. What is found in RNA in place of thymine, of DNA: pyridine, adenine, guanine, uracil. The correct option is uracil. If sequence of bases in DNA is ATT, CG, ATG, base sequence in its transcript will be GUAG, CUUA, UAA, GCUAC, CAU, CGAAU, AUU, CGAUG. The correct option is second, that is UAA, GCUAC. Correct about glycogen is that it is disaccharide stored in liver and can't react with ammonia to form protein, synthesized in liver and takes part in the formation of bile and lipase. Besides being a source of energy, a polysaccharide synthesized and stored in liver cells, synthesized in blood and stored in liver and muscle to provide glucose in times of need. The correct option is 3, a polysaccharide synthesized and stored in liver cell. An anticodon is an unpaired triplet of bases on ribosomal RNA, paired triplet of bases on ribosomal RNA, unpaired triplet of bases in an exposed position on transfer RNA, paired triplet of bases in messenger RNA. The correct option is 3, that is unpaired triplet of bases in an exposed position on that. These are the most important questions of the cell physiology that is asked in your NEET examination. Thank you. Again, we will meet in the next video with more important multiple choice questions on the same topics or the other topics which are important for you. Thank you.